Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, we are going to cover tangents and secants to a circle, full chapter. I hope you will like the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates and share this video with your friends so that it can benefit them too. Thank you. Let us begin with introduction to tangents and secants to a circle. Consider a circle and draw a line in the same plane as the circle as shown in the figure. As you see here, the line drawn is away from the circle, right? And it doesn't intersect the circle, right? Now let me draw another line. As you see here, this particular line is intersecting the circle at two distinct points, right? A line intersecting the circle at two distinct points is called a secant. Please note this point. As the secant moves, as shown here, the distance between the points of intersection changes, right? And eventually those two intersection points are merging together to become one point. That is shown using arrow here, right? A line touching the circle at only one point is called tangent to the circle. Please note this point. The green line we have drawn is the tangent to the circle, and blue line we have drawn is the secant to the circle, and the black color line is away from the circle and it doesn't intersect the circle. So it has got no name, special name as such. Let's learn few more points about tangents of a circle. Let us consider a circle and a secant as shown here. Let me draw a line parallel to the secant. This particular line also intersecting the circle at two distinct points, right? It means the line we have drawn is also a secant. Let me draw another line. This particular line is also a secant because it also intersects the circle at two distinct points, right? Let me draw another line parallel to the given secant. As you see here, this particular line is intersecting or touching the circle at only one point, right? That line is called tangent. That's what we learned just now, right? Let me draw a parallel line to the secant on the other side of the circle as shown here, the dark blue colored line. That is also a secant, right? Now, let me draw another line parallel to the given secant. As you see here, this particular line is touching the circle at only one point. That's why that particular line is also called a tangent, right? So we have two green color lines which are tangents to the circle and parallel to the given secant, that is shown using blue color line, right? Now let's repeat that exercise with a different secant and circle. I am drawing a line parallel to the given secant. That the line is touching the circle at only one point, right? And let me draw another line that is also touching the circle at only one point. It means we have two tangents, right? In this exercise, what we have learned just now is a circle can have two tangents parallel to a given secant. Please note this point. Let's learn about a theorem on circles and tangents now. A tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. This is the theorem. Let us consider a circle of radius r centered at O as shown in the figure. The line xy is the tangent to the circle at point P, as you see here, right? Now let's join O and P such that OP becomes radius of the circle. As per the theorem, line OP is perpendicular to line XY. In other words, radius is perpendicular to the tangent through the point of contact. In other words, we can say that a tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. Let's see how to prove this. To prove the theorem, we have to show that OP is perpendicular to XY, right? Let us consider a point that is O and line MN as shown here. Let me draw lines OA, OB, OC, OP, OQ and OR as shown. As you see here, line OP is perpendicular to line MN, right? And another point we note here is line OP is the shortest among all the lines we have drawn just now, right? In other words, we can say that perpendicular to a line that is MN drawn from a point O is the shortest among all the lines. Let us note this point and go back to the proof. To prove OP perpendicular to XY, we have to show that OP is the shortest of all line segments connecting O to XY, right? Let me now draw line OQ as shown in the figure. As you see here, line OQ intersects the circle at point S, right? It means OS equal to radius of the circle, that is small r, denoted using small r. So that OQ can be now written as OS plus SQ. That can be written as R plus SQ, right? It means OP, which is equal to radius of the circle, is smaller than OQ, which is R plus SQ, right? Now let's draw another line, that is OB. It intersects the circle at point A. As you see here, OA is equal to radius of the circle, so that OB can be written as R plus AB. Since there is AB extra, we can say that OP is smaller than OB, right? Now let's draw another line. Let's say that is OC. Line OC connecting point O to XY will be longer than OP unless point C and point P denote the same point. Please note this. Line OC connecting O and XY will be longer than OP unless C and P are the same point, right? If C is different from point P, then line OC will be longer than line OP. If C equal to P, then line OC equal to line OP. That is the idea here. It means OP is the shortest among all possible line segments connecting O and XY, right? And we said that a perpendicular to a line drawn from a point is the shortest of all the lines that can be drawn, right? If you agree with this statement, OP is going to be perpendicular to XY. So this is what the theorem says. A tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. In other words, it can be said like this: a radius is perpendicular to the tangent through the point of contact. Please note this. Let's learn about construction of a tangent to the circle now. Let us draw a circle centered at O as shown in the figure and mark point P on the circle. Let us draw a tangent to the circle through this point P. To do that, let me first join points O and P. OP is the radius of the circle, right? The tangent now can be drawn through point P. That is going to be the line perpendicular to OP through the point P, right? As per the theorem, if I draw a line perpendicular to radius, that is OP, through point P, then it is going to be tangent, right? You can do that with the help of protractor, right? You keep protractor at 90 degrees angle in line with OP and draw a perpendicular line to OP, right? If you don't want to do that way, there is another way to do. Let's try that now. Let me extend OP as shown here. The dotted line is the extension line. What I'm going to do now is, as P, taking P as the center, point P as the center, let me draw two arcs as shown here. Those two arcs are shown in red color, right? This is done with the help of compass, right? Now, what I'm going to do is, I take the point of intersection of one of the arcs in red color and line OP as the center and draw two arcs as shown here. This is also done with the help of compass, right? Keep the position of the compass as is. You don't extend it or contract it or reduce it. The distance between 2 points of the compass, don't change that. And then now move on to another arc which is intersecting line OP and draw two arcs as shown here. Those two arcs are drawn using light color blue lines, right? As you see here, the arcs we have drawn just now are intersecting, right? Now let me draw a line passing through P and these two intersection points. That line I am calling as XY. Line XY is the tangent to the circle through point P. This is what we wanted to do, right? Let's learn about lengths of tangents now. Let us consider a tangent to the circle through point P as shown here and mark a point Q on the tangent. Length of the line segment PQ is called length of the tangent to the circle from point Q. Please note the notation. Length of line segment PQ is called length of the tangent to the circle from point Q. Let's draw a tangent to the circle through another point, that is A, as shown here, and mark point B on the tangent. As you see here, length of line segment AB is 10 units, right? It means length of the tangent to the circle from point B is 10 units. Or in other words, you can say that length of the tangent from point B to the circle is 10 units. Please note this. Now let's learn about finding length of the tangent without the help of ruler. Earlier we have used the ruler to figure out the length of line segment AB, that is equal to 10 units, right? Now let's do it in a slightly different way. You don't require a ruler there. Find the length of the tangent to a circle with center O and radius equal to 6 centimeters from a point P such that OP equal to 10 centimeters. When you draw a figure to this particular statement, the figure looks like this. O is the center of the circle. Radius is 6 centimeters, that is OA. And P is the external point. And OP is given, that is 10 centimeters, right? And AP is the tangent. So let me note that OA is the radius of the circle and AP is the tangent to the circle at point A. We know from the theorem that a tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. It means OA is perpendicular to AP, right? It also says that triangle OAP is a right angle triangle. Since angle A is 90 degrees, triangle OAP is a right triangle, right? So we can use Pythagoras theorem to find the length of unknown side of the given triangle, right? Let's do that now. As per Pythagoras theorem, we can write OP square equal to OA square plus AP square. Here OP is the hypotenuse of the given right triangle, right? We know OP is given, that is equal to 10 centimeters, and OA equal to 6 centimeters. Let's substitute these values into the previous equation and simplify such that you get AP square equal to 64. It means AP equal to 8, right? Now we can write length of the tangent AP equal to 8 centimeters. This is what we are asked to find, right? Let's take a look at few problems based on this concept. A tangent PQ at point P of a circle of radius 5 centimeters meets a line through the center O at point Q, so that OQ equal to 12 centimeters. Find the length of PQ. Here, O is the center of the circle of radius r equal to 5 centimeters. That is given. PQ is the tangent to the circle through point P, right? And if you draw line OQ, its length is given, that is equal to 12 centimeters, right? PQ is what we have to find. That is the length of the tangent, right? We know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact, right? It means angle OPQ is 90 degrees, right? It means triangle OPQ is a right triangle, right? We know that Pythagoras theorem relates the sides of a right triangle as follows. In a right triangle, square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of other two sides, right? That is what is called Pythagoras theorem. In this particular case, since angle P is 90 degrees, the line OQ is the hypotenuse of the given right triangle, right? Now let's apply Pythagoras theorem to this triangle. It is given as OQ square equal to OP square plus PQ square, right? OQ is the hypotenuse. Let's substitute values of OQ equal to 12 and OP equal to radius equal to 5 centimeters into this equation and simplify it such that you get PQ square equal to 119. It means PQ equal to square root of 119, that is equal to 10.91. So to answer the question, length of the tangent PQ equal to 10.91 centimeters. Please take a note of this. Now let's go to another problem, problem number 2. Calculate the length of the tangent from a point 15 centimeters away from the center of a circle of radius 9 centimeters. When you draw a figure for this, you get a figure like this. Here, radius OA is 9 centimeters and P is 15 centimeters away from center of the circle, that is O, right? Let's take a note of that. OA equal to radius equal to 9 centimeters, that is given. And point P is 15 centimeters away from center O. It means OP equal to 15 centimeters, right? The only thing unknown is length of the tangent, that is AP, right? We know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. It means OA, that is radius, is perpendicular to the tangent, that is AP, right? OA is perpendicular to AP. It means triangle OAP is a right triangle and angle OAP equal to 90 degrees, right? Now, if you apply Pythagoras theorem, we can write OP square, that is hypotenuse square, equal to OA square plus AP square. We know OP equal to 15 centimeters and OA equal to 9 centimeters, right? Let's substitute them and simplify this equation such that you get AP square equal to 144. It means AP equal to root 144, that is equal to 12. So to answer the question, length of the tangent AP equal to 12 centimeters. Let's take a note of this point. Let's go to the next problem. Prove that the tangent to a circle at the end points of a diameter are parallel. Let's consider a circle centered at O as shown in the figure. Here, AB is the diameter of the given circle, right? Now let's draw two tangents to the circle through point of contacts A and B. Those tangents are PQ and RS as shown in the figure, right? We know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. It means PQ is perpendicular to OA. OA here is the radius and PQ is the tangent, right? So angle OAP is 90 degrees. We have marked that using the 90 degrees angle, right? As you see, RS is perpendicular to OB. It means angle OBS is also 90 degrees, right? We know that for a transversal intersecting two parallel lines, the alternate interior angles are equal, right? Let's take converse of this particular statement. When alternate interior angles are equal, the lines cut by the transversal are parallel lines, right? Let me repeat. When alternate interior angles are equal, the lines cut by the transversal are the parallel lines. As you see here in the problem, angle OBS equal to angle OAP equal to 90 degrees, right? If you see, these two are alternate interior angles, right? When these two alternate interior angles are equal, the transversal AB is cutting two lines PQ and RS, right? It means line PQ is parallel to line RS, right? This is what we are asked to show. Tangents to a circle drawn at the endpoints of a diameter are parallel. This is what we have just proved, right? Let's learn about number of tangents to a circle now. Consider a circle as shown in the figure and mark a point inside the circle. Let's draw a line through the point. A line drawn through a point inside a circle, if intersect the circle at two distinct points, then it is called secant. Please note this point. So line we have drawn just now is a secant, right? Let's mark a point on the circle and draw a line through that point. A line drawn through a point on the circle, if touches the circle at only one point, that is called a tangent. So the line we have drawn just now is called a tangent to the circle, right? Let's note this point. Let's mark a point outside the circle now. Let's draw tangents to the circle from that point. As you see here, we could draw two tangents to the circle from the point external to the circle, right? Or we can say that we could draw two tangents to the circle from the point outside the circle, right? Please note that we can only draw two tangents to the circle from a point external to the circle. What other things we have learned is only one tangent to a circle can be drawn through a point on the circle. Please note this. Through a point inside the circle, no tangents can be drawn. Only secants can be drawn. Please note this. Let's learn about a theorem on tangents from an external point now. This is theorem 2 of this particular topic. Lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. This is the statement of the theorem. Let us consider a circle of radius r centered at O as shown in the figure and mark a point P external to the circle as shown here. We just learned that from a point external to the circle, only two tangents to the circle can be drawn, right? Let us now draw tangents PA and PB. As per the theorem, lengths of tangents are equal. It means PA equal to PB, right? Please note this point. Let's try to prove that now. To prove the theorem, we have to show that PA equal to PB, right? We know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact, right? As you see in the figure, A is one of the point of contact and B is another point of contact, right? So A is the point of contact for tangent PA and radius OA, and B is the point of contact for tangent PB and radius OB, right? As you see here, angle PAO and angle PBO are the right angles. It means angle PAO equal to angle PBO equal to 90 degrees, right? Now let's connect point O and P such that you have two right triangles forming. One of the right triangles is triangle PAO where angle A is 90 degrees, and another right triangle is triangle PBO where angle B is 90 degrees, right? And we know that in a right triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to sum of the squares of other two sides. This is Pythagoras theorem, right? Let's apply this to one of the triangles first. Let's consider triangle PAO, for which PO is the hypotenuse, right? So let's write Pythagoras theorem, that is PO square equal to PA square plus OA square, right? This can be rearranged and written as PA square equal to PO square minus OA square, right? Let's go to the second right triangle, that is triangle PBO. For that also PO is the hypotenuse, right? It means when you apply Pythagoras theorem, you can write it as PO square equal to PB square plus OB square, right? Let me rearrange this equation such that I can write PB square equal to PO square minus OB square. From the figure, we know that OA equal to OB equal to radius of the circle, that is equal to R, right? So let me write that OA equal to OB equal to R. When you substitute this into the first equation, PA square equal to PO square minus OA square, that can be written as PA square equal to PO square minus R square, right? Similarly, when you apply OB equal to R into PB square equal to PO square minus OB square, you can write that as PB square equal to PO square minus R square, right? Let's see the last two equations. When you observe the right hand side terms of both the equations, they are same, right? PO square minus R square. It means left hand side terms are going to be equal, right? So let's write that PA square equal to PB square. If I drop square term from both the sides of the equation, I can write it as PA equal to PB. This is what we wanted to show, right? It means lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. Please note this. Let's learn to construct tangents from an external point to the circle now. Let us draw a circle centered at O and mark a point P outside of it as shown in the figure. Let's join points P and O such that you have line OP as shown in the figure. Let's draw a perpendicular bisector to the line OP now. To do that, what I'm doing is I'm going to draw a pair of arcs by keeping one of the points of my compass at point P and draw two arcs as shown here. And now let's go to point O, and without changing the separation between pencil and the pointer of the compass, let's go to point O and draw two more arcs as shown here. As you see here, the pairs of arcs we have drawn just now, they are intersecting, right? You have to adjust your compass settings such that the arcs or the pair of arcs you draw are going to intersect the way we have shown here. Now, let me draw a line passing through the points of intersection that is intersecting the line OP at point M, right? Now, what I can say is Point M divides the PO, line OP or line PO, such that PM, length of PM equal to length of OM. It means the line we have drawn just now with the help of two pairs of arcs is a perpendicular bisector to line OP. Please note this. What I'm going to do now is I draw a circle by keeping M as the center of the circle and radius of the circle as equal to either PM or OM or MO, right? When I draw a circle like this, as you see here, the newly drawn circle, which is shown using dotted lines here, is intersecting the original circle at 2 points. Those points are marked as point A and point B, right? Now, let me join PA such that I get a tangent, that is tangent PA, and let me join P and B such that I get another tangent, that is tangent PB, right? This is what we wanted to do. PA and PB are the tangents to a given circle from the external point P, right? Please note this. Let's learn about few statements and their proofs now. Center of a circle lies on the bisector of the angle between two tangents drawn from a point outside of the circle. Let's consider a circle centered at O as shown in the figure and mark point P external to the circle. Let's draw two tangents PQ and PR as shown here. As you see here, OQ and OR are the radii of the circle, right? We know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact, right? It means angle Q equal to angle R equal to 90 degrees. Let's write that. Angle PQO equal to angle PRO equal to 90 degrees, right? Let's connect O and P such that you have two right triangles, triangle PQO and triangle PRO are formed, right? And we know that lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. It means PQ is one of the tangents and PR is another tangent, right? Their lengths are equal. It means PQ equal to PR. And here we know that OQ and OR are the radii of the circle. It means they are equal, right? Now you can apply SAS criterion of congruency of triangles that states that when two sides of the included angle of one triangle are equal to the corresponding sides and angle of the other triangle, then the triangles are congruent. In this particular case, if I take right angle, if I consider triangle PQO and right angle Q, the sides including the right angle are PQ and OQ, right? Similarly, if you consider the other triangle, triangle PRO, the sides including the right angle, those are PR and OR, right? PQ equal to PR and OQ equal to OR. And the angles are also equal, right? 90 degrees. So it means that triangle PQO and triangle PRO are congruent triangles, right? If triangles are congruent, you can say that the corresponding sides of those two triangles are equal and the corresponding angles are also going to be equal, right? It means angle OPQ and angle OPR are going to be equal because they are the corresponding, one of the corresponding angles of these two triangles, right? And we know that angle between two tangents is angle QPR, that can be written as sum of angle OPQ plus angle OPR, right? And we have just seen that angle OPQ equal to angle OPR, right? It means angle QPR can be written as 2 times angle OPQ or 2 times angle OPR, right? It means angle line OP is the angle bisector of angle angle QPR, right? Line OP is bisecting or cutting the angle into two equal parts, right? So now we can say that center of a circle lies on the bisector of the angle between two tangents. Here, angle between two tangents is angle QPR. The bisector of it is line OP, right? Now the statement says that center of the circle, that is O, lies on the bisector OP, right? You understood this? Let's take a look at another statement and its proof. In two concentric circles, such that a chord of the bigger circle that touches the smaller circle is bisected at the point of contact with the smaller circle. To understand this, let's consider two concentric circles, circles C1 of radius capital R and C2 of radius small r, centered at O, right? And let's draw chord AB of circle C1 that touches circle C2 at point P. Now, as per the statement, we have to show that point of contact P bisects line AB into two equal parts. Bisects means that, right? Let's prove that AP equal to PB now. Line AB touches circle C2 at only one point, that is P, right? It means line AB is a tangent to circle C2 at point P, right? And OP is the radius small r to the circle C2 through point P, right? And we know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. It means line OP is perpendicular to line AB, right? Let's now connect OA such that you have a right triangle forming, that is APO, triangle APO, right? Triangle OPA or triangle APO is a right triangle. So we can apply Pythagoras theorem such that you can write it as OA square equal to OP square plus AP square, right? Let me rearrange this such that I can get AP square equal to OA square minus OP square, right? Now let's draw line OB. As you see here, now it forms a triangle, right triangle, triangle OPB, right? We can apply Pythagoras theorem for this particular triangle also. As per that, OB square can be written as OP square plus PB square, right? Let me rearrange this and write it as PB square equal to OB square minus OP square, right? We know that OB is equal to capital R and OP equal to small r, right? So that we can write PB square as capital R square minus small r square, right? When you do that, apply OA equal to capital R and OP equal to small r. AP square can be written as AP square equal to R capital R square minus small r square. If you compare the equation written for PB square and AP square now, you see that right hand side terms containing capital R square minus small r square, right? It means now I can equate the left hand side terms and say that PB square equal to AP square. If I drop square on both the sides, then I can write it as AP equal to PB, right? This is what we wanted to prove, to show that point of contact P bisects the line AB, right? I hope you understood this. Let's take a look at next statement and its proof. If two tangents AP and AQ are drawn to a circle with center O from an external point A, then angle PAQ equal to 2 times angle OPQ equal to 2 times angle OQP. Let me mark angle PAQ and denote it using theta. And the other angle is angle OPQ, that is shown using green color arc. And let me draw the other angle, that is angle OQP, and show it using green color arc again, right? You have seen three angles marked in the figure now, right? We have to find the relation between them. We know that lengths of tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are equal. Here in this particular case, AP and AQ are the tangents drawn from an external point, that is A, right? It means AP equal to AQ, right? And as you see here, since two of the sides of triangle PAQ are equal, we say that triangle PAQ is an isosceles triangle, right? In isosceles triangle, two of the angles are going to be equal. Those are angle QPA and angle PQA. Those two are equal, right? And we know that sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. It means since two of the angles are equal, you can get those values by subtracting the third angle from 180 degrees and divide it with 2, right? That's what I have written here. Angle QPA equal to angle PQA. That is equal to 180 degrees minus angle PAQ divided by 2. Here angle PAQ is the third angle of the given isosceles triangle, right? Let me write it as 90 minus theta by 2. I have denoted angle PAQ as theta, right? It means 180 degrees minus angle PAQ divided by 2 can be written as 90 degrees minus theta by 2, right? Please take a note of this point. And we know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact, right? It means if I consider points A, P and O, I can say that angle P is 90 degrees, right? Because AP is the tangent and OP is the radius drawn from the same point of contact, right? As you see here, angle OPA is 90 degrees, right? And as you observe here, angle OPA is sum of two of the angles. Those are angle OPQ, that is denoted using green color arc, and angle QPA, that is shown using red color arc, right? Let me rearrange this equation such that I can write angle OPQ equal to 90 degrees minus angle QPA. Angle OPA is 90 degrees. I have substituted that. That's why we have angle OPQ equal to 90 degrees minus angle QPA now, right? Let's take a note of that. And substitute angle QPA equal to 90 degrees minus theta by 2 into this equation. And when you simplify it, you get angle OPQ equal to theta by 2. Please note this. That can also be written as angle OPQ equal to angle PAQ by 2, right? Let me rearrange this and write it as angle PAQ equal to 2 times angle OPQ, right? This is part of the problem given or the statement given, right? The first equality is angle PAQ equal to 2 times angle OPQ. The remaining part we have to show is angle PAQ equal to 2 times angle OPQ, right? Let's do that now. As you see here, when you apply the theorem, tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact, you can say that angle OQA equal to 90 degrees, right? From the figure, you can say that that angle 90 degrees is sum of two of the angles. One is shown in green color and other is shown using red color. Those two are angle OQP and angle PQA, right? Let me rearrange this equation such that I can write angle OQP equal to 90 degrees minus angle PQA, right? And we know that angle PQA is 90 degrees minus theta by 2, right? When you simplify it, you get angle OQP as theta by 2, right? And we know theta is angle PAQ such that we can write angle OQP equal to angle PAQ by 2. Let me rearrange this such that I can write it as angle PAQ equal to 2 times angle OQP. That is equal to 2 times angle OPQ, right? This is what we are asked to show as part of the statement, right? Let's go to the next statement. In the given figure, if circle touches all sides of the quadrilateral ABCD, then show that AB plus CD equal to BC plus DA. As you see here, P, Q, R and S are the points of contact of the circle with lines AB, BC, CD and DA respectively, right? That's what you see in the figure. Now let us consider the circle and lines AP and AS. A is the external point to the circle, and as you see here, AP and AS are the tangents to the circle from the external point A, right? And we know that lengths of tangents to a circle drawn from an external point are equal. It means AP is going to be equal to AS. Let me write that. AP equal to AS. Now let's consider lines SD and RD and point D. So you can apply the same theorem again such that you can write SD equal to RD. Now let us consider lines RC and QC and point C. When you apply this theorem, you can say that RC equal to QC. So only remaining pairs of lines are PB and QB, and point B, external point B is remaining, right? When you apply theorem for this particular combination, you can say that QB equal to PB, right? Now let me consider LHS of the given equation AB plus CD, right? As you see here from the figure, AB can be written as AP plus PB and CD can be written as CR plus RD, right? We know that AP equal to AS, PB equal to QB, CR or RC equal to QC and SD equal to RD, right? Let's substitute the corresponding pairs here such that AB plus CD can be written as AS plus QB plus QC plus SD, right? Let me shuffle the pairs such that I can write it as AS plus SD as one pair and QC plus QB as another pair, such that I can write AB plus CD as AS plus SD plus QC plus QB, right? And from the figure, you can say that AS plus SD is AD and QC plus QB is equal to BC, right? Let's write that. It means AB plus CD equal to BC plus DA. This is what we wanted to show, right? Let's solve a problem on this concept. If AP and AQ are the two tangents to a circle with center O, so that angle POQ equal to 110 degrees as shown in the figure, and then what is the angle PAQ? We know that tangent to a circle is perpendicular to its radius through the point of contact. It means angle OQA equal to 90 degrees in the given figure, and angle OPA is also equal to 90 degrees, right? And we know that sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. It means angle PAQ plus angle OPA plus angle POQ plus angle OQA equal to 360 degrees. We know two of the angles of these four angles are known, those are 90 degrees, and one of the angles is given, that is 110 degrees. Let's substitute all those such that it can be written as angle PAQ plus 90 degrees plus 110 degrees plus 90 degrees equal to 360. Simplify it such that you get angle PAQ equal to 70 degrees. Please note this. Let's learn some basics of sectors now. Let us consider a circle of radius r centered at O as shown in the figure. Let A, B and C be the points on the circle as shown here. Let us now draw lines OA and OB such that you have the circle area divided into two separate regions, right? These regions are called sectors. Please note this point. The one in light blue color is sector OAB, and the remaining part of the circle is called sector OBCA. Please note this point. Sector OAB subtends an angle theta at the center of the circle. We have shown that, right? Angle of the sector OAB is theta degrees. Since theta is less than 180 degrees, we call sector OAB a minor sector. Please note this point. The other sector is going to be automatically called a major sector because the angle subtended by that sector is greater than 180 degrees, right? We know that a circle has total 360 degrees all the way around the center, right? If sector OAB subtends an angle theta, angle subtended by the major sector OBCA can be written as 360 degrees minus theta, right? Please note this point. Now let's learn about area and perimeter of a sector. As you see here, sector OAB is subtending an angle theta at the center of the circle, right? Let's find the area of sector OAB now. We know that circle has total 360 degrees all the way around the center, right? And its area is defined as pi r square. Let me write this statement. If circle which has got angle 360 degrees has area pi r square, a sector which subtends an angle theta has got what area is the question I am asking, right? We have two statements. A circle which is making angle 360 degrees has got area pi r square. Now a sector which is making angle theta has got what area? If you cross multiply these two, you get area of sector OAB times 360 degrees equal to theta times pi r square, right? You rearrange this equation such that you get area of sector OAB as theta by 360 degrees times pi r square. Please note this formula. And as you see from the figure, perimeter of sector OAB can be written as OA, that is one of the radius of the circle, and OB, that is equal to also radius, plus AB, right? AB is the arc. OA plus OB can be written as 2 times R, that is 2 times radius of the circle, plus AB can be written as length of the arc AB, right? Here to get perimeter of sector OAB, what is unknown is length of arc AB, right? Let's try to find that out now. We know that circle which makes 360 degrees angle got perimeter 2 pi r. Now, since sector OAB is subtending an angle theta, what is length of its arc AB? I'm writing this question now. And when you cross multiply these two, you get length of arc AB as theta times 2 pi r divided by 360. That can be rearranged, simplified and written as theta by 180 degrees times pi r, right? Now, we can write perimeter of sector OAB as 2 times r plus theta by 180 degrees times pi r. Please note this formula. Let's learn about segments now. Consider a circle of radius r centered at O as shown in the figure. Let A, B, C and D be the points on the circle as shown here. Let us draw line AC. We know that line joining any 2 points on a circle is called a chord, right? Please note this point. It means line AC is a chord, right? As you see here, the chord divides the circle into two segments. The one in light blue color is segment ABC, and the other one is segment CDA, right? Segment ABC is called minor segment because its area is much smaller than the area of the other segment, right? Other segment CDA can be called as major segment. Please note this. As you see here, chord passing through the center of the circle is called diameter, right? And diameter divides the circle into two equal segments. Those parts are called semicircles. So those equal segments are semicircles, right? Please note this point. Now let's learn about area of segment. Let us consider a circle of radius r centered at O as shown here, and segment ABC also. Let us draw lines OA and OC. As you see here, the colored region is a sector, that is sector OABC. It is subtending an angle theta at the center of the circle, right? Area of sector OABC can be written as area of triangle OAC plus area of segment ABC, right? This is what you see from the figure, right? Triangle is shown using green color and segment is shown using blue color, right? If you rearrange this equation, you can write area of segment ABC as area of sector OABC minus area of triangle OAC, right? Here, if you observe, the angle, subtended angle looks less than 90 degrees, right? Here, as you see here, the subtended angle is equal to 90 degrees in this figure, right? In this particular case, the subtended angle is greater than 90 degrees, right? In all three cases, you have seen that area of segment can be written as area of sector minus area of triangle, right? Please note this point. Let's now derive the formula for area of segment. We just said that area of segment equal to area of sector minus area of triangle, right? Let us consider a segment ABC as shown in the figure and connect OA and OC such that you have triangle OAC and sector OABC formed, right? As you see here, angle of sector is theta degrees, right? And area of sector OABC can be written as theta divided by 360 degrees times pi r square. We have derived this formula just now, right? To find the area of segment, what is missing is area of triangle OAC, right? Let's find area of triangle OAC now. And we know that area of triangle can be defined as half base times height, right? For this particular triangle, base is AC. Let's draw OP perpendicular to AC such that it becomes height of the given triangle, right? So height is going to be OP. It means, as you see here, OP divides angle theta into two equal parts, right? At the same time, OP is dividing AC into two equal parts, that is AP and PC, they are equal. AP equal to PC, right? Please note these 2 points. OP divides the angle theta into two equal parts and OP divides AC such that AP becomes equal to PC, right? Once you have that, we can write area of triangle OAC as half AC times OP, right? Unfortunately, we don't know value of AC and OP here, right? What we know is value of OA and length of OC, those are equal to radius of the circle, right? In such a scenario, trigonometry comes handy to solve such problems. Let us consider a right triangle as shown in the figure. Triangle OPC, angle P is the right angle. OC is going to be hypotenuse of the right triangle. And if I consider angle O, that is alpha, OP is going to be adjacent side to angle alpha. And PC is going to be opposite side to angle alpha, right? We know that trigonometric ratios relate sides and angles of right triangles, right? So sin alpha can be written as opposite side divided by hypotenuse, that is equal to PC by OC, right? It means PC can be written as OC times sin alpha. Let's take a note of this particular formula for our original triangle. So PC can be written as OC times sin theta by 2. If I consider only right triangle, triangle OPC as shown here, the angle POC is theta by 2. That's why we can write now PC equal to OC times sin theta by 2, right? Let's go back to triangle OPC shown in the subfigure where we are discussing about trigonometry. We say that cos alpha can be written as adjacent side by hypotenuse. That can be written as OP by OC, right? Let me rearrange it and write it as OP equal to OC times cos alpha. We can take this formula and apply back onto the original problem where we can write OP equal to OC times cos theta by 2. Let's take note of these two formulas and go back to finding the area. Let's now consider triangle OPC, for which OC is R, we know, and OP can be written as R cos theta by 2, right? And AP equal to PC can be written as R sin theta by 2, right? It means AC, which is sum of AP and PC, can be written as 2 times R times sin theta by 2, right? Please note this point. Now we have AC and OP values known, right? Area of triangle OAC can be written as half AC times OP, where AC is 2 times R sin theta by 2 and OP is R cos theta by 2. When you substitute that and simplify it, it can be written as R square sin theta by 2 times cos theta by 2. So area of triangle area of triangle OAC equal to R square sin theta by 2 times cos theta by 2, right? Now let's go back to area of segment formula. Area of segment ABC can be written as area of sector OABC minus area of triangle OAC, right? Let's substitute corresponding expressions into this equation such that area of segment ABC can be written as theta divided by 360 degrees times pi r square minus r square sin theta by 2 cos theta by 2. Please note this formula. Let us solve few problems based on this concept. Find the area of the segment AYB if radius of the circle is 21 centimeters and angle AOB equal to 120 degrees as shown in the figure. Area of segment AYB can be written as area of sector OAYB minus area of triangle OAB, right? Area of sector is defined as theta divided by 360 degrees times pi r square, right? And theta is given, that is equal to 120 degrees, and r is given, that is 21 centimeters. When you substitute these two values, the area of sector OAYB can be written as 120 divided by 360 times pi times 21 square. Simplify it such that you get area of sector as 462 centimeters square. Please take a note of this point. And area of triangle OAB can be written as r square sin theta by 2 and cos theta by 2, right? This formula we have derived just now. Let's substitute r value and theta value into this such that it can be written as r 21 square times sine 60 degrees times cos 60 degrees. From the trigonometric ratios tables, we know that sine 60 degrees equal to root 3 by 2 and cos 60 degrees equal to half. Let's substitute them and simplify it such that you get area of triangle OAB as 190.953 centimeter square. Let's go back to area of segment formula. Area of segment equal to area of sector minus area of triangle OAB, right? Let's substitute the values obtained for area of sector, that is equal to 462, and area of triangle, that is equal to 190.953 into this formula, such that you get answer as 271.047, right? Let's now write area of segment AYB equal to 271.047 centimeter square as the answer to the given problem. Let's go to the next problem. Find the area of the segments shaded in figure if PQ equal to 24 centimeters, PR equal to 7 centimeters, and QR is the diameter of the circle with center O. And we see from the figure that area of segment shaded is equal to area of semicircle, that can also be called as sector OQPR, minus area of triangle PQR, right? Let's now first find area of triangle PQR. That can be written as half base times height. Since it is a right triangle, I can say that, I can take base as PR and QP as the height. When you do that, if I take PR equal to 7 centimeters and QP equal to 24 centimeters into the equation, then I get area of triangle PQR as 84 centimeters square. Let's take a note of this. And we know that area of semicircle is defined as half pi r square, right? Radius r is equal to diameter QR divided by 2. Interestingly, here we don't know the value of QR, right? If you observe the triangle given, that is triangle PQR is a right triangle. It means we can apply Pythagoras theorem. As per that, QR square can be written as PR square plus PQ square. We know the values of PR and PQ. Substitute them and simplify such that you get QR square equal to 625. It means QR equal to square root of 625, that is equal to 25, right? Now since we know radius r equal to QR by 2, we can write radius small r equal to 25 by 2, right? Let's substitute that into the formula of area of semicircle. Half times pi equal to 22 by 7 times r square, where r equal to 25 by 2, right? When you simplify this, you get answer as 327.38 centimeter square. Now let's go back to area of segment shaded formula. That is area of segment equal to area of semicircle minus area of triangle PQR, right? Let's substitute values of area of semicircle, that is equal to 327.38, and area of triangle equal to 84. When you substitute that and simplify, you get answer as 343.38. So to answer the question, area of segment shaded equal to 243.38 centimeter square. Please note this point. Let's go to the next problem. That is, a chord of a circle of radius 10 centimeters subtends a right angle at the center. Find the area of the corresponding minor segment and major segment. When you draw a figure, it looks like this. Chord is AC and circle of radius 10 centimeters is shown here. Radius is OA or OC. And the angle subtended is 90 degrees, right angle, right? Here chord is AC, minor segment is ABC, and major segment is ADC, right? And area of minor segment, we know that can be written as area of sector minus area of triangle OAC, right? Area of triangle OAC can be written as half base times height. I can consider base as OC and height as OA for this particular right triangle. That can be written now as half r square, because OA equal to OC equal to small r, that is radius of the circle, right? When you substitute the radius equal to 10 centimeters, you get area of triangle AOC as 50 centimeters square. Please note this point. Now, we know that area of sector can be written as theta divided by 360 degrees times pi r square, right? When you substitute theta equal to 90 degrees and pi equal to 22 by 7 and r equal to 10 and simplify, you get area of sector OABC as 78.57 centimeter square. It means area of minor segment can be written now as 78.57 minus 50, that is equal to 28.57 centimeter square. So now we are done with first part. Area of minor segment we have found. What we have to find now is area of the major segment, right? If you look at the figure, you can say that area of major segment plus area of minor segment put together becomes equal to area of the circle, right? So area of major segment now can be written as area of circle minus area of minor segment, that is segment ABC, right? Area of circle is defined as pi r square. We know r equal to 10. When you substitute and simplify, you get area of circle as 314.28 centimeter square. And we know area of segment ABC. When you substitute area of circle and area of segment ABC values into the equation, you get area of major segment ADC as 314.28 minus 28.57. When you simplify, you get that as 285.71 centimeter square, right? Please note this. I hope you like the video. Please give it a like and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you.